right, once you've chosen your glaze, you need to make sure it's mixed properly. When you open up your buckets, sometimes you'll see it looking really lumpy, or you may see it having like a layer of water on top that's separated. We got to make sure all that goodness is mixed together. Otherwise, it's like eating pancakes where you didn't mix the flour into the batter. Okay? So I can choose an electric drill, but it can be kind of splashy. So if you'd rather, we have just a big hand whisk. I'm going to go with the power. Now, you can see that this one is like pudding. That tells me that it needs more water added. And if you're not comfortable adding water, just come get me and I'll help you figure out how much. But generally just add a little bit at a time until it's right. Okay, you can see that got pretty splashy. It should be more like a melted milkshake, where when you pull the drill bit up, it's actually dripping. I'm gonna just lift it up a little bit and get the excess off of there. And then please, for God's sake, please rinse it off in the bucket of rinse. See how easy that was? All right. Then glaze is basically powdered glass, and once it goes into the kiln, it's going to be fired up to 2,000 degrees. So all the glass that's painted on here is going to melt and it's going to drip. Now with our test tiles, that's part of why we have such a big base, but we want to make sure there's no glaze pinky high or on the bottom. And you can already see I accidentally dripped some on the bottom, so I'm just going to wipe it away. I'm going to load my brush nice and thick, and I don't want to scrape it. You notice when I scrape it, it misses the texture pools, so I'm going to kind of wiggle it around. And again, luckily we have this nice break, so we don't need to glaze any of that bottom piece. And then if it calls for 2 layers, then I'm going to just wait until this is no longer shiny. You can see when it's wet, it has that little bit of sheen. If I wait till it's kind of powdery, then I can touch it. I can put a 2nd layer on. Some of your tiles, you're only going to put 1 layer, some 2, and some, not all, but some of them you're going to wipe away. So you put a layer of glaze, and you get a sponge, and you remove part of the glaze. And you can kind of remove a lot over here and a little over there so you can see how it changes. But this will be really fun to see how it shows off your texture once it's fired.